The United Nations has vowed that if the Nigerian government fails to obey them in signing the petition that has been set, there's going to be a big repercussion to their disobedience. You see, normal, United Nations are not like countries that you should disrespect. There's a reason for that. And for truth, I must tell you that what goes around comes around. And if you're not being careful, they will face you with full force. So the zoo can keep playing around and thinking that they are dealing with the Biafran people. We cannot continue to be with a country that does not want us. How far should we continue to play these mind games? How far are we going to continue to play with these mind games where we are disrespected for things we don't know anything about, and consistently trying to face the real facts, moving on with the real sense, and people are trying to, imitate us in a very large way. There's no two ways about it. We must stay very focused on riding for the freedom in which we chase. Freedom of words, freedom of justice, freedom that is well begotten. But without fear, announce our stand. To the world authorities. It is just the beginning of a dawn day, and the time to begin with these very victories that must be put in practice. So, if they do not like what we say nor do, then I really doubt if they will virtually continue in that path in every zone. And that's the biggest part of the deal. We are victoriously working hard to continue in every part that we preach, because one good turn deserves another. Victory must be assured. Victory must be put in a greater sense. That's where everybody must say what matters more to them. Because if we continue in that part where one or two things doesn't make sense, then I tell you with every honesty, these mistakes will be made properly, in accordance, more feasible, more dismantled, more arguably, and more prolonged measures. That's just the truth of the matter. Victories have been shared, and to those it matters to must spread this very vicinity. We are working hard as possible to make sure that no matter how they try to bully us, we will continue to help ourselves largely. The Zoo government has refused to sign the invitation they received from the United Nations to come and explain their stand on Biafra after a few hours of inviting Simon Ekpa. Of course, you know that Nigeria is the one still withholding Biafra from going, so they need to come and make a speech. But the Zoo government and the president has refused to sign because they feel there is a disrespect to them to allow a country to be on their own, knowing fully well that Nigeria is won by force, by law, whether you like it or not. But here's the fun fact. Let me explain myself. The biggest win that we have achieved today is very simple. We must take no stance. We must stay connected and committed. We must stay more preservably on what is right, and what must be right must be done. It is more communicated in every part of history, and no matter how they insist of not signing what is right for the Biafran people, then they should wait to see what is big. This is just the beginning. You see, we must continue in this path of historic measures where one must understand one of the biggest part of the histories, and that history is a history that must be used, if not entitled, and that's the game part. No matter what they try to do or try to say, we must stay very, very focused on one or two things, because the game has just changed. This is victory at last. More entitled, more elevated, and more futuristic. There's no two ways about it. We must push forward whether they want to sign it or not, to that very point where we cannot look at ourselves and say to ourselves that victory is of the Lord. And even though they try to deny us today, they cannot deny us for too long, because we are already at the bottom where everybody must understand what really happened. So the zoo government refusing to sign this thing is not only wasting their time, but wasting their own precious time. There's no two ways about it. This is where the story began. Victory must be achieved by notice or by whatever case may be. We must continue in that part where history must be made. And once history is made, everybody will see the biggest part of history where victory